discussing an invasive species to Florida. First, I will be talking about where this invasion started, what it has caused, and why it is important. First, have you ever heard of the red zebra-striped fish called a lionfish? If not, as a Florida resident, you should know that this species has been invasive to Florida since 1958. So let's discuss the origin of this invasion. This invasion doesn't have exact data. There's very sparse detail as well, especially when it comes to pre-invasion, but there is a lot of data for post-invasion. The reason why we have a lot of data for post-invasion is due to the large amounts of venom in the area, which can be used for prey and as a self-defense technique. As said in the article, Data Quality and Quantity for Invasive Species, a case study of the lionfishes by Fish and Fisheries. The first sightings of the lionfish were first stated, they were first sighted in the Western Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. As well as according to biological invasions in the article Habitat Utilization by an Invasive Herbivorous Fish, there's also behavioral changes as well when it comes to the invaders and post-invasion. In an invaded habitat, the invasive species starts to extort unusual or uncommon sources of food and protein, unlike the natural native fish in the area, which means these fish are not only surpassing and living off of the native fish, but they're also living off of all of the resources, essentially adapting and making this place a home, which is where this invasion progresses. Next, I will tell you how this invasion has impacted the environment. The effect of the invasive lionfish is one of the most detrimental to Florida to date. According to scientific reports in the article, invasive lionfish reduce native fish abundance on a regional scale. A lionfish is actively feeding on fish that they have the upper hand to, which would be prey. And it tends to be very economically important fish, such as a tomtate. According to lionfish reduce native fish abundance on a regional scale, the tomtate is a coral reef fish that the lionfish prefer to prey on, which has caused their population to decrease by 45% since invasion. The tomtate is not only an economically important prey, it also affects the fish that its predators are, such as snapper and grouper. In the article entitled Effects of Invasive Pacific Red Lionfish Ptoris validans versus a native predator on Bahamian coral reef communities by biological invasions, this invasion has caused a negative impact on recruitment and abundance of biodiversity. During a small study of 8 weeks, the lionfish reduced small coral reef life in a large amount. Not just population, but biodiversity as well. Even with the natural predators and native predators there, when we were discussing the lengths of their lifespan and growth, the lionfish are eating the prey and predators at a faster rate that they can grow and replenish, which means the lionfish are growing faster than any of the other fish in the area. Finally, the reason why it's so important to address this invasive species is because of the damages overall. In an article entitled Effects of an Invasive Pacific Red Lionfish, Ptoris validan versus a native predator on Bahamian coral reef fish communities by biological invasions, the lionfish is a predator that has an overall advantage when it comes to coral reef life and ecosystems. The lionfish is not only growing to maximum sizes, adapting to hunt prey, eating native fish at a rate faster than they can replenish and reproduce. With the lionfish being so evolved, this is causing a large problem. It's causing a huge ripple effect. It's not just affecting coral life, it's also affecting fisheries as well. According to scientific reports and articles entitled Invasive Lionfish to Reduce Native Fish Abundance on a Regional Scale, the lionfish are affecting the native fish abundance by reducing it at a rapid rate over large amounts and regional scales, which is, it could be the whole coast of Florida. That's pretty much how much of this area in Florida that the lionfish has affected and impacted. With there being regional shortages of fish, there's also a shortage of fish resources, where people have even tried to reintroduce peacock grouper and blue line snapper to restabilize and repopulate fish abundance. And even with these attempts, the lionfish are still thriving, still growing, and still surpassing the native fish. This is not just affecting the coral life, but it's also affecting fisheries, and it's also changing how the lionfish acts in general. In summary, the lionfish is one of the most impactful invasive species to date, and there are countless reasons why. The lionfish could even be considered one of Florida's most detrimental invasive species. Although the lionfish has been assumed to be accidentally released during the aquarium trade, it is no accident that this species has taken advantage of its new habitat. By adapting, growing to maximum sizes, depleting abundance, and destabilizing ecosystems at large amounts. Coral reefs are known as the rainforest of the sea, similar to our protected sanctuaries and rainforests on land. Just as much as these rainforests on land are protected, I believe our forests of the sea should be protected just as much as well. Thank you.